While Padma Lakshmi's physique is the envy of many, she admits that it was something of a sore spot while growing up. She works hard at it today, often giving up alcohol, sweets, all things dairy, red meat, and all things fried and sugary when she comes off the sets.
It sounds like cooking was a fun experience. In your book, you mentioned that you often used it to distract you or maybe hide your insecurities.
It was something I knew I was good at, and it kept my hands busy and it was useful. If there was any moment where I felt odd or awkward, I would just be like, okay, let me go get drinks for everybody, or let me make some chili cheese toast to serve everyone. And so, as women, we are told that we should be accommodating and we should be very hospitable and we should feed people, and so I think it was my way of fitting in. I don't know,
Right.
I think it was just something that I was trying to do to be a good host and be gracious and also alleviate some of my feeling like an outsider, I guess.
Let's take a trip back to your college days. You were in Madrid. That's where you were first discovered. So tell us about that journey.
Well, I was at a cafe with my friend Santiago. I was studying abroad in Madrid, and a friend of his named Fernando came over and looked at me, and Santiago kind of made a joke and he said, "Don't you think she should be one of your models?" Because he was a booker at an agency, and he sort of took my face in his hands and he felt around and he said, "Yeah, maybe," and that's kind of how it started.
Now I'm going to bring you fast forward to Top Chef. That show has made you a household name.
I thought it was a really happy and lucky thing that came my way. I originally did Top Chef because I thought it would be a good way to gain some more traction for my second cookbook. I never realized that this little cable cooking show was going to be this huge pop culture phenomenon, and I've been on the show for 10 years, so it also happened gradually. But what's cool about it is that now, even when I travel, like I was in Goa with my daughter, and somebody who is also on vacation said, "Oh, we love your show, we watch it in Norway all the time." And I would love to see the Norwegian dubbed version of myself, which I think would probably be very funny.
Now tell us about Krishna. What has she brought into your life?
Everything. She's brought everything. She's brought a lack of sleep, definitely. She has brought joy and fun and music and hula hoops and ice cream and sparkly dresses and piano lessons and hopscotch and everything else. It's actually also, of course, made me much closer to my other family members because they need me now if they're going to have access to Krishna. And so, I always know, like I go to Los Angeles sometimes for business, and my mother lives there, and she doesn't even say, "Oh, great, you're coming." She says, "Are you bringing Krishna?" Because that's all anybody cares about. She's a very charismatic child, so I get it. But I'm very lucky to have her. I'm very happy to be a mother, and I'm lucky because she's just a nice child. I genuinely enjoy her company, even when she's being really naughty.
So tell us about this infamous scar. It took a while before you were able to just wear it with pride, and in the beginning you had to hide it.
Well, I didn't have to hide it in the beginning, but I was very self-conscious about it. It happened to me when I was a teenager. I was a freshman in high school, and I had a very serious car accident, and I broke my arm. It was something so serious that at first nobody was thinking about my physical appearance, and I was very lucky. I found a good orthopedist in California who saved my arm, and then the scar is a keloid scar, and many women of color, many Indians suffer from keloid scarring, and so over the course of a few months, it became thick and ropey, and I was very self-conscious about it. But then once I got to college, it became easier, and then once I started modeling and worked with a photographer named Helmut Newton, he actually liked the scar, and he changed my viewpoint on it.
Looking at you now, you look happy, you look successful, you look very content. Tell me, about some of the struggles that you faced, specifically as a South Asian woman in this industry.
I spent 5 years living in Los Angeles, and I have a degree in theater. I wanted to be an actress, and I've been in some films and TV shows, but it was very difficult for me in Hollywood. There were a lot of times when I would say, oh, I heard about this part, can you please call the casting director? And we would get the response, we're not going ethnic with this role. And okay, my name's Padma Lakshmi, but I feel just as American as my classmate who's named, you know, Becky Jones. Like, there's nothing, you know, maybe I eat dal instead of, you know, meatloaf, but I feel very American too. And it was very difficult to hear all that, especially when the role or the plot had nothing to do with my skin color or the character, you know. And so I did hear that a lot. But it's getting better now. Look, you know, it's getting much better. Look at Priyanka Chopra, you know, look at all these women who are making the crossover, Sarita Chowdhury. I mean, you know, they're on. And I'm very happy for them. Look at Asif Manvi, you know, and so when I see these people on TV, it's just a win for all of us.
So you've poured your heart out into this book. What are you hoping people take away from it?
I really hope that young women, specifically Indian women, but you know, any immigrant community, not just Indian, just young women in general, I hope that it gives them comfort and just something to identify with in the book. I hope it gives mothers something to identify with and fathers. So I just want people to know that it's okay if it takes you a little longer to find your path or your way in life, whether that's professionally or personally, because it took me a lot longer than I would have ever thought it would have.